Hi everyone, welcome back to Brookdale Farm. Well, it's the 16th of May today and it's a beautiful sunny day. Now by this point in May we aim to have all of our oats planted and be starting or about to start on the wheat. But we actually haven't started seeding yet this year. On the 1st of May we got 12 mils of rain, which was a fantastic start. It did give us a little bit of a germination, but it wasn't enough. We had 2 days of rain forecast for the 2nd and the 3rd, which turned into nothing. Since then we've had 1 millimetre. We've also broken a few records here in Western Australia, or we're about to anyway. So today is going to be 28 degrees Celsius, and this is the 3rd day in a row this hot. Tomorrow we break even with a record that goes back to the 1960s, and the Saturday, if it's warm again, we break that record. So it's very dry here, and still we're getting quite warm days, which is just, and a bit of wind, which is just sucking out any moisture that's left in the soil. A lot of the big farmers have dry seeded, and this is a real risk on years like this. Particularly with something like canola that's got a really tiny seed. The 12 mils will have been enough to germinate that. But because it's been so dry since then, and we don't have any rain forecast till Friday week, so another 8 days away, chances are at least some of that canola is going to molt off and die. There's just not enough energy in that seed to keep it going for very long if there's not enough moisture. Now, canola seed is stupidly expensive, somewhere between $20,000 and $50,000 a tonne for the seed. Now, you only go in at a really low seeding rate. You use about 2 kilos a hectare, but still, if you've got to go through and reseed that, that is a phenomenal expense. There's a few big farmers around here who say, no, it's not worth dry seeding, we're waiting for the rain. Our neighbour does 8,000 acres, I think it is, and he's holding off until the rain comes. And a lot of I don't like dry seeding for a couple of reasons. If you get the first one is that you can molt off your crop and have to reseed it again. The second one is that if you get a bit of wind, our soil's not too bad here, it's reasonably heavy-ish soil, but if you get a bit of wind, you lose all your topsoil, and that's where all your fertilizer is and all your fertility is, and all your soil microbia. Once you lose that, it takes a long time to build your soil health back up again. And the other reason is, even with the Jules on the Chamberlain, I don't really have enough traction to pull the seeder through absolutely dry ground. It puts a lot of stress on both your tractor and your seeder bar, and it wears your points out really fast. So here's a photo taken a couple of days after the rain. You can see all the clover starting to germinate. There's a few other things germinating in there too. And you can see how nice and damp the soil is. Since then, we've had ryegrass, wild oats, oats and wheat all germinating, but it has just progressively dried out and struggled more and more and more. So if we just go for a little bit of a walk through the paddock here, you can see that we've got a little bit of green down here. This is probably wheat, and there's a bit of ryegrass. and a little bit of clover coming up here, but it's all looking pretty moisture stressed. Now this is one of the harvester rows that dumped all the straw. Now our paddocks are pretty bare at the moment. Wheat always tends to be a bit bare, but when you've run stock on it as well, and had such a long hot dry summer, it really dries everything out. Now there is a little bit of green still coming up. We've got a bit of cooch over here. This stuff is amazing, you can't kill it. It's a bit of a problem weed when you're cropping, but if you're grazing, it is a fantastic feed. And yeah, you just can't kill it. Anywhere that the paddocks are more bare. So if we wander up here where the paddocks are a little bit more bare, this soil dries out really, really fast where it's bare. You can see where there's a one of the rows from last seeding. We've got a little bit of grass growing in here. We've got a little bit of mulch to help hold the moisture in. Also, the water runs down to the lowest point, so this is where you're going to get your first germination. But if you go through and burn your paddock and leave it bare, or leave it with the black ash on it, the soil loses moisture so fast when it's like that. The wind evaporates it, the sun is directly on your soil, and then you need an awful lot more rain. The other thing is that any soil disturbance, so if you plough it, you lose a lot of moisture. Even with the knife points on the seeder that we've got, is enough disturbance to really dry your soil out. You can't really see it very well from here, but that paddock over there beyond the trees has all been seeded. They did that last week. They use a machine that still keeps a bit of stubble on their paddocks, which helps an awful lot. But there's nothing that's going to grow in there for a fortnight or so. So if we get a little bit of wind, they're likely to lose a lot of their topsoil. Anyway, I just thought I would let you know where we're all up to. We've got this reasonably strong front forecast for next Friday, and it's also forecast to push. In Western Australia, we have a low pressure system in the north and a high pressure system in the south through summer, and in our winter weather pattern, the high pressure gets pushed further north to so we've got a high pressure over the north of Western Australia. There's another low pressure system between the south of Western Australia and Antarctica, which gets pushed up to the southwest of or to the southern half of Western Australia. The low pressure systems are what cause or usually brings the rain. So we have been in a summer weather pattern with that high pressure system across the bottom of Western Australia. This front that is coming is also looking like it's going to be pushing that high pressure system up, and we're going to be into a more traditional winter weather pattern. Now this is still, the forecast is still a week away, and lots of things change in that time, but hopefully the southern part of Western Australia will start getting rain from next week on, and the seeder is sitting in the paddock ready to go. As soon as we get that rain, we will be planting as fast as we can to try and get our crop in. Anyway, good luck to everybody out there who's already started dry seeding, and to everybody who's waiting on the rain. I hope we all get some rain very soon. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!